The pandemic EBT program, which puts extra money on food cards for low-income families when their kids' schools are closed, has transformed the lives of low-income people, giving them $40 billion of extra food purchasing power at supermarkets, bodegas, and farmers markets like the one here in Webb City, Missouri. The pandemic EBT card fills a vital gap in the summer. 85% of the kids who get school lunches during the school year don't get summer meals. So just giving people more money on a card to go to a farmer's market, to go to a supermarket, makes all the difference in the world in staving off hunger for their kids.
Oh, school meals are a huge deal. To get free and reduced meals is giant for our kids. I received a letter saying that I was eligible, and I felt relieved to know that we had some help and some resources, because we don't normally have those types of resources available to us. It's definitely a humbling experience. It is an eye-opening experience of what other people go through month to month.
The top entity fighting hunger in America is the federal government. Everyone thinks that food banks are the top entity, and the food banks do a great job. But before the pandemic, the federal safety net programs equaled 15 times the dollar amount of food distributed by every charity in America. So when it comes to fighting hunger, it's really the federal government that's the big kahuna. The top reason Americans are living in poverty is they just don't earn enough to pay for housing, health care, child care, transportation, and yes, food. In many parts of the country, the minimum wage equals $15,000 a year for full-time work, and you can easily pay $8,000 or $10,000 a year for rent. So if you're earning $15,000 a year and paying $10,000 a year for housing, it's no shock that you don't have enough money left over for health care, prescription drugs, child care, transportation, clothing, and food. It was really hard creating the pandemic EBT program because many Republicans did not want to acknowledge the severity of the economic collapse, did not want to acknowledge the severity of the health crisis in America, and in general were much happier giving huge checks to agribusinesses or corporate welfare recipients than low-income struggling families. The pandemic EBT program will go away in the next few months unless the Biden administration and Congress work together to extend it. That's why we at Hunger Free America are fighting so fiercely to make this a permanent program. We know it works. We know it prevented tens of millions of Americans from going hungry. When it comes to fighting hunger, the federal safety net is by far the largest and most effective tool.